I never imagined Christmas Eve would find me clutching a cardboard box, shivering outside my own workplace. But there I was, tears stinging my eyes, the humiliating weight of my sister-in-law's words echoing in my head. "You're fired." She delivered the news with a sweet, poisonous smile, like it was a kind of twisted holiday gift. Even the glowing Christmas lights in the frosted windows seemed to flicker in disapproval of her cruel timing. My breath came out in white puffs, and I thought, how did it come to this? Donna, my husband's sister, had been made manager just a few months ago. I'd heard rumors her promotion had more to do with her connections than her performance. Still, she relished the authority. She'd critiqued me constantly. "You're late, you forgot the staples, you didn't attend the meeting correctly." It was like she was itching for the perfect moment to pounce. And so it happened. Right as I was about to head home to celebrate with my husband, I got cornered in the hallway. Donna's voice rang out, "You're terminated. Pack your things." My cheeks burned with shame as coworkers averted their eyes, powerless to help. There, on that icy sidewalk, I clutched my box of desk trinkets, wondering if I'd ever feel warm or whole again. But in the pit of my stomach, a tiny spark of defiance glowed. On the drive home, Christmas music mocked me from the radio. Bing Crosby crooned about a white Christmas while I fought back tears. I stared blankly at the twinkling lights lining the neighborhood roofs, every house looking like a warm sanctuary. I wished desperately that I could skip straight to January, bury this miserable holiday memory, and never look back. At home, my husband Mark stood by our tiny plastic Christmas tree, frowning at me in confusion. He knew something was off the moment he saw my blotchy face. I mumbled through the story, voice cracking, as I recounted Donna's merciless announcement. Mark's brow furrowed in anger. "She fired you. On Christmas Eve?" he said, disbelieving. "She's my sister. Why would she do that to you?" He threw down the Santa Claus hat he'd been wearing, knocking over a box of ornaments in frustration. He kept muttering, "Unbelievable," as he tried to console me. "We'd just started to rebuild our savings after a tough financial stretch, and now this. Our family gathering tomorrow was guaranteed to be awkward, if I even dared to show my face." But one thing was certain. Donna's act felt like a declaration of war. That night, I barely slept. My mind replayed every detail, every subtle slight Donna had made over the months, building up to this final blow. A year ago, I'd thought working with her would be a dream arrangement, keeping it in the family, right? We'd always been polite if not close. But the moment she got that promotion, the atmosphere shifted. The next morning, Christmas Day, we headed to Mark's parents' house. I could practically smell the tension as soon as we walked in the door. Donna was there, sipping hot cocoa by the fireplace, feigning innocence. She gave me this pitiful, condescending look. "Oh, how are you holding up?" she asked, voice dripping with false concern. My stomach churned. Mark's parents were oblivious to the drama, or at least pretending to be. They ushered us to the table, insisting we enjoy the feast. But every bite felt tasteless. I caught Donna smirking at me from across the table. When she slid her gift for me under the tree, I couldn't decide whether to laugh or cry. The nerve she had, acting like nothing serious had happened. My heart pounded. I needed to keep my composure, if only for Mark's sake. But inside, I was seething. My husband tried to confront Donna privately after dinner, but she waved him off with a dismissive shrug. "It's just business," she said. She wasn't meeting expectations. "You know how it is." It took all my restraint not to scream. She spoke as if I were some random underperforming employee, not her sister-in-law who'd given her honest work and loyalty for over a year. Sitting on the couch, I flipped through old holiday photos, ironically reminded of better times, when Donna and I were laughing over decorating cookies or dancing in the living room. Part of me wondered if she'd always harbored some jealousy or grudge. It felt like there was a hidden agenda behind her actions, as if firing me was a piece of a larger plan. Toward the end of the evening, she pulled me aside, lips curving into a tight, smug smile. "Don't make this awkward for the family," she whispered. "Move on gracefully. I'm sure you'll find a job somewhere, eventually." The condescension was unbearable. She acted like she was generously letting me off easy, as though her power was absolute. My pulse rattled, and I stepped away, swallowing my pride, but I vowed silently that I wouldn't let her crush me. The car ride home from that Christmas family gathering was chillingly quiet. Mark gripped the steering wheel, jaw tight with anger, while I stared out the window, tears brimming but refusing to fall. I kept wondering, how could she do this on Christmas Eve? She'd effectively humiliated me in front of coworkers, and now acted like I was disposable. The worst part was the way she expected me to just vanish without causing any waves in the family. Over the next few days, an odd tension settled between Mark and me. He felt caught in the middle, his sister on one side, his wife on the other. I didn't blame him. He tried to be supportive, but every time he offered comfort, I sensed his guilt. He wanted to stand up to Donna, but the family bond tangled everything. Meanwhile, I updated my resume and scrolled through job listings, hoping to find something before our savings took too big a hit. Each rejection email was like a tiny dagger of disappointment. I refused to lose hope, though. Donna might have seen me as a throwaway. But I knew my worth. Deep down, I clung to a burning desire to prove her wrong. In the week after Christmas, I felt the sting of unemployment acutely. Bills didn't stop just because I'd been unfairly fired. Mark's income alone wouldn't cover everything. Anxiety gnawed at me as I meticulously budgeted groceries and delayed any non-essential expenses. It was like walking on a tightrope, hoping we wouldn't topple into debt. Every morning I woke up early to scour job boards, determined to land on my feet. Yet each day, the memory of Donna's smug grin fueled me as much as it haunted me. I couldn't shake the humiliation. Even friends and extended family chimed in with unsolicited advice. Aunt Sheila's sympathetic phone call turned sour when she casually mentioned, "Maybe you just weren't cut out for that kind of job, dear." The remark stung. Why did everyone assume Donna's word was law? Meanwhile, Mark tried to get more details from Donna's workplace, but official HR records indicated a perfectly legal termination, position eliminated due to departmental downsizing. What a lie. Donna was simply rewriting history to make me look incompetent. With every piece of information, my resentment grew. I felt cornered, but I refused to give up. If Donna wanted me to bow down, she'd be sorely disappointed. I reached out to old colleagues, letting them know I was looking for opportunities. A few were sympathetic, though clearly nervous about crossing Donna. She'd made it clear that she was the one holding the power in that circle. Despite their empathy, they didn't want to risk their own positions by helping me openly. Ironically, I received a text from the coworker who'd sat next to me before I was fired. She'd heard whispers that Donna planned to hire her own friend for my old position, someone who'd do her personal errands and keep quiet about whatever changes Donna wanted. Anger pulsated through me at the injustice, but it also validated my suspicion. I had been a thorn in Donna's side because I refused to be her puppet. As the new year crept in, I doubled down on my search. I sent out resumes to companies I admired, even considering a career shift if it meant a fresh start. Yet, a lingering sense of shame clung to me. I'd been tossed out like trash, and part of me worried that prospective employers would see me the same way. Each rejection email made me grit my teeth, but it also solidified my determination. I was not done fighting. In an effort to clear my head, I started taking walks around the neighborhood each morning, swirling snow, crisp winter air, and the last of the holiday decorations. It became a ritual, a moment of calm before I dove back into the job hunt. On one such walk, I remembered a chance encounter at a professional conference months ago. I'd had a great conversation with an influential woman named Patricia Lake, CEO of a booming tech startup in the city. I still had her business card tucked away in a drawer. With nothing to lose, I shot her an email, reminding her of our conversation. A day later, she replied. She remembered me. Patricia invited me to coffee the following week, saying she was always looking for ambitious people. My heart fluttered with excitement, tinged with nerves. Could this be the lifeline I'd been hoping for? Mark was thrilled when I told him, though I noticed a flicker of anxiety in his eyes. What if Donna hears about this? That was his unspoken worry. But we both agreed I couldn't live in fear of her. So I prepared for that coffee meeting, determined to show Patricia I was ready for a new challenge. The morning of the meeting, I wore my best blazer and tried to ignore the knot in my stomach. Arriving early at the cafe, I mentally rehearsed my introduction. When Patricia walked in, she was poised and confident, exactly as I remembered. We exchanged a warm greeting, and she immediately asked how I'd been since the conference. I told her about my recent job transition, carefully avoiding the words fired on Christmas Eve by my sister-in-law. Instead, I highlighted my skill set and experiences. Patricia listened intently, occasionally nodding, and asked pointed questions about my goals. After finishing my latte, I finally took a breath and let my sincerity show. I was hungry for a position where I could contribute meaningfully. Patricia leaned back, considering. We're expanding faster than we can handle, and I need people who can adapt quickly, she said. I've read your blog posts before. Remember your piece on workplace efficiency? I was impressed. My blog? I was stunned she'd read those articles I'd put online months ago. Encouraged, I explained my vision for streamlining workflows and building team morale, two areas I truly cared about. Patricia gave a half smile. Sounds like we need to talk more, in an official capacity. Walking out of the cafe, I felt lighter than I had in weeks. Patricia asked me to visit her office the next day to meet some of her senior team members. It wasn't an official job offer, but it was the closest I'd come to a fresh start since the fiasco with Donna. I practically danced down the sidewalk, invigorated by the possibility that my career wasn't over. It was just beginning a new chapter. At home, I briefed Mark on everything. He hugged me, relief and excitement in his eyes. We even let ourselves indulge in a bit of celebration, popping open a cheap bottle of champagne we'd been saving for a special occasion. To new beginnings, Mark toasted, clinking his glass against mine. For a moment, our living room glowed with hope. But in the back of my mind, a nagging voice asked, "What if Donna finds out?" I tried to push the thought away, focusing instead on how I could prove myself to Patricia's team. I spent the rest of the night drafting ideas, polishing my portfolio, determined to walk into that meeting with confidence. Little did I know, destiny was about to hand me a twist I never saw coming. The next day, Patricia's office buzzed with a vibrant energy. The startup atmosphere felt worlds apart from the stifling corporate environment I'd left behind. Bright walls, casual chic attire, and a real sense of collaboration in the air. Patricia introduced me to two senior managers, Felix and Dara, who peppered me with questions about my approach to project management, conflict resolution, and creative thinking. I felt surprisingly at ease, speaking passionately about what I could bring to the table. After the interviews, Patricia took me aside. "We're building something big here," she said, eyes gleaming with excitement. "Your perspective could be a real asset. But let's be honest, this environment can be high stress, and we need team players. Are you up for that?" I nodded, adrenaline coursing through me. "Yes," I said firmly. "I want to be part of something meaningful." Patricia smiled. "Good, we'll be in touch very soon." Leaving the office, I could hardly contain my excitement. This felt like more than just a job, it felt like a chance to reinvent myself. And ironically, it was happening so soon after Donna's humiliating stunt. The contrast was stark. While Donna thrived on control and fear, Patricia seemed to promote trust and innovation. I was so ready. As the days passed, my nervous anticipation grew. I tried not to obsessively check my email or phone, but each beep made my heart jump. Finally, on a cold morning, my phone buzzed. "Patricia Lake, job offer." My hands trembled as I opened the message. The position was a project lead role, well above my previous level. The salary was competitive, and the responsibilities matched my skill set perfectly. They wanted me to start within 2 weeks. I screamed in delight, startling Mark, who was shaving in the bathroom. He rushed out, half a face of foam, demanding to know what happened. When I told him, he lifted me in a big hug, soap smearing my cheek. I laughed and cried at the same time. Still, a tiny spark of apprehension niggled at me. Would Donna somehow try to sabotage this new opportunity? She'd always managed to keep an eye on me in the past, especially through her contacts. But I vowed not to let her overshadow my new beginning. This was my chance. I signed the offer letter that afternoon, sending it back with a surge of triumph. The same unstoppable energy that had fizzled out on Christmas Eve was now roaring back to life. My first day at Patricia's startup was a whirlwind. Felix and Dara greeted me enthusiastically, showing me to a bright, open-concept workspace. I dove into orientation, absorbing details about upcoming product launches, marketing strategies, and expansion goals. Within hours, I felt more valued than I ever had at Donna's old company. Patricia set me up with a small team of sharp, motivated individuals. We clicked almost instantly, exchanging ideas and brainstorming solutions for an upcoming project deadline. The collaborative spirit energized me. No one looked down on me here. No one questioned my competence. It was the complete opposite of how Donna had made me feel. Late that afternoon, as I was organizing my new desk, Patricia stopped by. She leaned casually on the partition. "I forgot to mention, some big deals are in the pipeline," she said with a mischievous grin. "We're partnering with external consultants, including a new corporate alliance. I'll reveal more details soon, but get ready. We may need you to manage some cross-company collaborations." I felt a thrill rush through me. Cross-company collaborations? That meant I'd soon be interacting with professionals from other firms. A small part of me wondered if fate would set me on a collision course with Donna. I shook off the thought, focusing on the bright road ahead. Over the next week, I worked relentlessly, staying late to ensure I was hitting the ground running in my new role. My small team, consisting of an insightful data analyst named Hector, a detail-oriented designer named Mila, and a junior coordinator named Tess, proved an incredible support system. Every day felt like a fresh win as we tackled tasks together. I felt my confidence blossoming. Mark, too, noticed a change in me. "I've never seen you so fired up," he said one evening when I got home after dark. Despite the long hours, I was brimming with energy. This position allowed me to use my creativity without fear. Then one afternoon, Patricia called me into her office. She wore a serious expression. "We're finalizing a partnership with a major corporation," she explained, tapping her pen on the desk. "They're sending over a liaison in a few days to discuss the details. I'd like you to be part of the negotiations." My heart pounded with excitement. This was a high-profile deal, and she was entrusting me with a seat at the table. I nodded, trying to mask my nerves. "I won't let you down," I promised. Little did I know just how personal these negotiations would become. The day the liaison arrived, I was double-checking presentation slides in the conference room. The warm glow of overhead lights contrasted with my jittery nerves. I'd prepped for every possible question, determined to impress. When Patricia guided the visitors in, I stood ready with a smile. My heart nearly stopped mid-beat. It wasn't Donna, but it was someone who worked directly under her. Jen, a senior consultant from Donna's old company. My stomach twisted in knots as I realized this was Donna's firm. Of all the companies Patricia's startup could partner with, it had to be the one where Donna still reigned. Jen didn't immediately recognize me, which offered a brief reprieve. Patricia introduced us. We exchanged handshakes and I tried to remain calm. If Jen was here, it meant Donna was close by, possibly leading the negotiation from her side. Throughout the meeting, I presented my part confidently, forcing myself to ignore the tremor in my hands. Jen nodded, scribbling notes. We wrapped up with polite smiles, agreeing to continue discussions. But before leaving, Jen paused, squinting at me. "Have we met before?" she asked. My throat tightened. "I'm not sure," I lied, hoping this wouldn't unravel into a confrontation I wasn't ready for, yet. After that meeting, I barely managed to keep my composure. Patricia, noting my tense posture, asked if I was all right. I brushed it off, saying I just wanted to make sure we nailed the details for the next negotiation session. In truth, I was wrestling with the realization that my past had just knocked on my door. Donna's company. The very place that had spat me out. That night, I confided in Mark. He grew pale when I told him. "I can't believe this," he said, pacing the living room. "Donna's gonna freak when she finds out you're spearheading negotiations on the other side. You sure you want to stay involved?" I nodded. "I can't run from this. Besides, Patricia is trusting me. I have to do it." A spark lit in my chest, the same defiance I'd felt standing on that snowy sidewalk weeks ago. I wouldn't bow down to Donna again. Mark wrapped me in a hug. "Whatever happens, we face it together," he whispered. Deep down, I knew he dreaded a family explosion, but I refused to let Donna's presence overshadow my progress. This time, I wasn't the powerless employee. I had a position of influence, and that was about to change everything. The second round of negotiations took place at Donna's corporate headquarters. My heart raced as I stepped into the gleaming lobby, the same one I had walked out of in shame on Christmas Eve. Patricia walked beside me, her presence calming, but also reminding me I had to appear professional and confident. We were led to a large conference room, its panoramic windows showcasing the city's skyline, and there, seated at the head of the table, was Donna. She looked impeccable in a tailored blazer, her expression poised and aloof. Her eyes flickered with surprise the moment she recognized me. She didn't say a word of greeting, just pursed her lips. Patricia began the meeting, laying out our agenda. My stomach did flips as I waited for my turn. When Patricia introduced me as the project lead, the tension in Donna's jaw was impossible to miss. Jen's eyes darted between us, likely recalling her suspicion from the previous meeting. I launched into my prepared statements, delivering each point with a steady voice. I avoided looking directly at Donna, focusing instead on the documents. But I could feel her gaze burning into me. I had to maintain my composure, no matter how furious or rattled she might be. Donna held her poker face for most of the discussion, but I could sense her anger simmering beneath the surface. She asked pointed questions about timelines, budgets, and responsibilities. Questions aimed directly at me, as if probing for any flaw to exploit. I answered calmly, refusing to let her see any weakness. When the meeting ended, the two companies agreed to further talks. Patricia suggested a follow-up in a week. As we packed up our materials, Donna finally approached me, tone cordial but eyes icy. "I see you've landed on your feet," she said softly, her words dripping with forced politeness. "Congratulations." I forced a small smile. "Thank you," I replied, equally guarded. Patricia, who hovered nearby, gave Donna a polite nod, unaware of the personal drama bristling between us. Donna didn't mention the firing, nor did she reveal that I was her sister-in-law. She was too cunning for that, but I could almost hear the gears turning in her mind, plotting her next move. I left the building with Patricia, my pulse hammering. Stepping back into daylight, I exhaled sharply. The old me might have crumbled, but not this time. I was on equal footing now, and I wasn't about to yield. Back at our office, Patricia beamed about the progress. "They seem receptive to our terms," she noted. "Their manager, Donna, was it? Appears tough, but that's good. It means they're serious. Great job, everyone." I thanked her, feigning a calm that I didn't truly feel. My phone buzzed an hour later. A text from Mark. "Donna just called Mom. She's furious and wants a family meeting. Are you okay?" My stomach churned. I knew this reckoning was coming. Donna would never let this slight go unchallenged, her underperforming sister-in-law stepping into a key role on the opposite side of a big deal. That evening, Mark confirmed the details. Donna demanded a sit-down at his parents' house on Sunday. "I'll be there to back you up," he promised. "We're in this together." I braced myself, my heart pounded at the thought of confronting her with the whole family watching. But a small, rebellious part of me looked forward to it. I wasn't the same timid employee who'd scuttle away in fear. I might not relish drama, but I refused to be the victim anymore. Our professional worlds had collided, and soon, our family dynamic would be dragged into the open. Maybe it was time Donna faced the consequences of her actions. Sunday arrived too quickly. I walked into my in-laws' living room, and it felt like a war council. Donna was perched on the sofa, arms crossed, jaw set. Her parents hovered in concern, clearly distressed by the tension, but unsure how to intervene. Mark put a reassuring hand on my back. Donna wasted no time. "So this is your game plan?" she said coldly. "Waltzing into a major contract with my company, trying to sabotage me? You think I won't notice?" I inhaled sharply. "I'm just doing my job," I replied, forcing an even tone. "Patricia's firm is partnering with yours, that's all." She narrowed her eyes, her voice rising. "Don't play innocent. You've always resented me, haven't you? You couldn't keep up at my firm, so you found a back door to undermine my position." Mark stepped in, voice firm. "Donna, enough. This isn't about you. She got a new job. Get over it." Their parents tried to diffuse the tension, but Donna was too furious, hurling accusations that I was incompetent and out to ruin her. I'd had enough. "You fired me unfairly on Christmas Eve," I said, voice trembling with rage. "Now I have a better opportunity. That's not sabotage. It's karma." Donna's face flushed crimson. She attempted to switch tactics, telling her parents how she'd done me a favor by letting me go, implying that I wasn't fit for the role. I shot back that the position wasn't eliminated like the official HR record claimed, but simply handed to her close friend. The tension crackled like electricity in the room. Eventually, her father, Mr. Campbell, spoke up, his voice quiet but stern. "Donna, is that true? Did you fabricate the downsizing story?" She stumbled over an answer, deflecting that it was the company's decision, not hers. I didn't expect to feel any sympathy from them, but her mother's eyes brimmed with tears. She looked from Donna to me, realizing how deep the betrayal ran. Meanwhile, Mark stood by me with unwavering support. In that moment, I felt stronger than I ever had before, like I'd reclaimed the dignity Donna stole from me. Still, it wasn't the perfect triumph I'd imagined. Tensions were raw, the family was fractured, and Donna wasn't backing down. As I left, she hissed a final warning. "Don't expect me to play nice in these negotiations." I squared my shoulders. "Wouldn't dream of it," I said. "Let the chips fall where they may." Over the next week, negotiations between our two companies intensified. Donna was no longer content to let Jen handle the details. She showed up to every meeting with her polished mask firmly in place. It became a silent battle of wills. She'd throw curveballs, I'd adapt. She'd push for unrealistic deadlines, I'd calmly counter with evidence and data. Patricia kept praising my composure, unaware of the personal vendetta fueling Donna's every move. Despite the stress, my team rallied around me. Hector's analytical insights were invaluable, while Mila's meticulous design proposals left little room for criticism. Tess coordinated schedules so precisely, Donna couldn't find a single tardy moment to twist into an attack. We became a well-oiled machine, each success a small victory against the tyranny I'd once experienced. Donna, for her part, seemed desperate to rattle me, sometimes making snide remarks under her breath. But I refused to let her see me flinch. Instead, I maintained an unwavering professionalism that started to impress even her own colleagues. A subtle shift was happening. Instead of me being the one on shaky ground, it was Donna whose composure was cracking, and I could sense that her final outburst was only a matter of time. The breakthrough came when Patricia, exuding excitement, invited everyone to a major milestone event, a celebratory dinner marking the nearing conclusion of our partnership deal. Both sides were supposed to attend. As the date approached, I felt a swirl of nerves. Would Donna pull some last-minute power play? On the night of the dinner, I arrived with my team at a stylish rooftop restaurant. City lights sparkled below, music thrummed softly, and a sense of achievement buzzed in the air. Patricia mingled with executives from Donna's firm, praising the collaboration and how productive the synergy had been. I spotted Donna near the bar, looking tense. Halfway through the evening, Donna cornered me. "You might think you've won," she whispered sharply. "But don't forget, I'm still your superior in this deal." Her eyes flashed. "One wrong move, and I'll kill this partnership, tarnishing your precious new position." I stared back, an unexpected wave of calm washing over me. "Patricia and the rest of your executives see the value in this partnership," I replied. "If you break it out of spite, you'll harm your own reputation, maybe even your job. Are you willing to do that?" For a moment, her face faltered. I knew she had no trump card left to play. Soon after our tense exchange, the hush of a microphone tapping drew everyone's attention. Patricia stood at the front of the room, smiling broadly. "I want to extend my gratitude to everyone who made this partnership possible," she said. "Tonight, we celebrate a near-final agreement. Before we raise our glasses, though, I'd like to acknowledge someone whose hard work was pivotal, our project lead, who navigated complex negotiations with grace, my new star hire." She gestured for me to join her. Applause erupted. Even members of Donna's firm offered polite clapping, though I noticed Donna's hands remained by her sides. She stood rigidly, her expression darkening like a thundercloud. As I walked up, I couldn't resist a glance in her direction. The shock and fury on her face were almost palpable. All those months of belittling me, culminating now in watching me shine under a spotlight she never wanted me to have. Patricia handed me the microphone briefly. My heart thudded, but I managed a steady voice. "Thank you," I said, scanning the crowd. "I'm grateful for the opportunity to prove what a dedicated team can accomplish. Here's to continued success. Together." Behind the polite cheers, Donna's jaw was clenched so tightly, I thought it might shatter. In the days that followed, the partnership agreement was signed, sealing the deal. Patricia congratulated me personally, offering an even higher level of involvement in future initiatives. When the paperwork was finalized, Donna's firm issued a formal statement of collaboration. But notably, Donna herself was not the one quoted. Word had it that the executive board noticed how personal she was making the negotiations, and her star had dimmed in their eyes. Meanwhile, the family dynamic took its own course. Donna retreated, embarrassed by how the tables had turned. My in-laws quietly apologized, admitting they had been swayed by Donna's narrative, but now saw how unfairly I was treated. Mark stood proudly by my side. Though I doubted Donna and I would ever be close again, at least the truth was out, and her power to hurt me was gone. On the final day of the partnership's launch, I walked into my new corner of the office. Yes, Patricia had decided I deserved my own modest but bright office. I set a photo of Mark and me on the desk, recalling the cold Christmas Eve when I'd been cast out. That memory no longer stung. It fueled me instead. I had found my voice, and a future far brighter than Donna ever imagined.